Welcome back to CTV Morning Live. We do have an Ask the Expert segment with Auger Hollingsworth. Brenda is joining us once again. You can give us a call live on the air, 789-6559, extension 2803. You can always email us, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, or you can send us a message via our Facebook page, via our Twitter page as well. And we are talking personal injury. And a lot of it comes down to Brenda, and we've gone through this a variety of times when you've been on the panel with us. Things happen. Unfortunately, there are things that happen to individuals. There are things that happen within car accidents and certain accidents. And so, you know, something happens. You want to find a lawyer, and then you kind of go, okay, wait, what happens now? What can you do for me? And then eventually, over time, it becomes to, okay, this is taking a long time.
Yes, yes.
We'll break that down, because those are kind of the frustrations and what people need to understand right off the bat.
Right. So once you've made the important decision of who's going to represent you in your case, a lot of people are, focus on that decision and then wonder kind of what happens next. And as you say, these cases, generally speaking, are lengthy. So first of all, you want to make the right choice of lawyer, because you're going to be knowing them for a long time. So typically what happens after you hire the lawyer has to build your case. Just because you had an accident doesn't mean that we can prove negligence, doesn't mean that we can prove what your losses are. We actually have to actively do that. And so that's what the first part is the information gathering. We gather all of your medical records. You've given us authorizations. We go out, we get them from all of your doctors. And believe it or not, sometimes we need sort of 20 or 30 authorizations, because as soon as you go to the hospital, all of these different people swipe your OHIP card, and we need to get all of their records. And that can take 3 or 4 months. We need to get the motor vehicle accident report and everything that there is from the police if it is a car accident. And that's the accident report, and then the duty book notes where the officer took his own notes or her own notes. That takes time. We have to put the at-fault person, whether it's a driver or if you fell on property, we have to put them on notice. Takes time for them to get the notice and to provide it to their insurance company to get back to us. So in the very early days, like the first 6 months, that's the kind of thing that's going on.
It's got to be incredibly frustrating for some individuals, and yet you are relying on other people, because if you're talking about who swiped the OHIP card or who wrote the notes, I mean, that officer has to then write those notes up. You're dependent on other individuals, that they're doing their jobs and
right.
on time to be able to even see it all come together.
Right, so that's why you just have to kind of take a deep breath and trust the system that it's going to work. We get lots of calls in the early days, because as we're doing this, the client's not really involved. Our office, and it's generally our law clerks, are dealing with these third parties to get these records. And the client, all they did was sign the authorizations, and then they have to sit and wait. And that is difficult. You don't see the fruits of the labor right off the bat.
And they probably don't even realize all the different medical records that they need, because they might have, said, this is where I've gone and this is what I visited, this is the x-ray, or this is,
exactly.
But they're not the ones that are able to follow how many people saw it or where it went.
Well, that's right, and a lot of people are surprised to hear that we also need pre-accident records, because we need to show, if you have a knee injury because of the car accident, we need to have some reasonable proof that the knee injury happened in the car accident and that you didn't have a bum knee before the car accident. So we also get 5 years pre-accident medical records, sometimes 3 years, but we get a period of time before the accident. So that takes time, tracing that back.
So, all right, so this all happened. So we're talking right now about a 6-month wait in terms of just the paperwork coming back in.
That's right. And then another thing that's important to keep in mind is we can't even start to talk about settlement of your case until we know, are you going to get better? And if you're going to get better, to what extent? Are you going to get back to work? If so, are you going to be able to do the job the way you could before the accident? All of that needs to be sorted out. And I have no control over that, because that's your body, right? That's your medical recovery takes time. And a lot of people say, well, I have a broken arm. You should know what a broken arm is worth. Well, some people make an excellent recovery from a broken arm, and it's like it never happened. And other people are never the same. So really, the time.
And if it was a broken arm on a baseball player, it makes a big difference as to their quality of life or the things that they were doing.
Absolutely, right arm versus left arm, all of those things, and where in the arm it was broken, and if you had surgery, are you going to require a second surgery to have hardware removed? All of those things, like that decision, just that second surgery decision, is often not made until 18 months or 2 years after the accident. So I'd like to wait to make sure that that second surgery goes okay. because once you settle, you're done, right? If something gets botched, you can't go back for more. So that takes time.
We're going to run through kind of the examples of how this works, but it's not like you see on a TV show that lasts an hour and
Right.
it happens and the next thing you know there's the court settlement and off we go. It's the same with kind of, you know, things don't happen the way they do on television. Send us in your questions to Brenda from OJ Hollingsworth. You can give us a call live on the air, 789-6559, extension 2803, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca. You can send us a message via our Twitter or our Facebook page. We'll be back with more after this, and if you are looking to get a hold of them, there's their contact information listed on your screen.